Hi, friends. Another piece of very bad news, this time from the economy front. 2 days back, one of the private banks in India, Yes Bank, has become bankrupt. This is one of the new private sector banks started in 2004, which this year's economic survey prices. It says the performance of this new private sector banks is many times better than the PSBs. So it gave a backhanded compliment to nationalization, which was done by Indira Gandhi in 1969. So it's a separate chapter on 50 years of golden jubilee of bank nationalization. And it concludes, now it seems pretty hastily, that nationalization was wrong, and Indian financial system is much more safer in the hands of private corporates. And uh, within a month or so after this was tabled in the parliament, now we have seen the first private bank to go under. What is yes bank? A little bit of information, and then I can talk about the causes and why it was not prevented. The yes bank, yes, fifth largest private sector bank in India. It per se, it doesn't have high NPS, around 7.6%. Fourth worst performing bank in India, PSB is included. The worst is PNB, Punjab National Bank at 18%, then Union Bank of India, then Bank of India. All of them are having 13%, 11%, and this is only 7.6%. It is also lower than the average of 9.3% for the public sector banks. So that is not a problem. If you see the NPS wise, and Yes Bank has always been showing profits in its books till the first quarter of current financial year, FY 2019-20, but after showing loss for the first quarter, within the next 2 quarters it collapsed like a pack of cards. That shows that there is some severe problem in the financial system. RBI now says that they know that Yes Bank is having problems for the past 2 years. From 2017 onwards, they know, and they have taken some measures by limiting this exposure to certain sectors, etc., which are considered to be not so performing, etc. It will come back to it. Now, after this has been collapsed, and RBI has superseded the board of directors of the Yes Bank, appointed his own person to run, and in the meantime government said that the depositors should not have to worry, their money will be safe, it will be returned in due course of time. And the employees of the bank, around 18,600 people are working in his bank, they also don't have to worry. At least for the next 1 year the government will ensure that their salaries will be paid, right? So then RBI has come up with a draft resolution plan which says that 49% of Yes Bank equity will be purchased at a price of not less than 10 rupees by SBI, the face value of 2 rupees, and RBI and SBI will be putting in its own money of around 2,500 crores into Yes Bank, and they will also take over the management of Yes Bank and then turn it around and it will become part of the SBI. So no need to worry about it. And of course, there are various question marks over this also, that will come back to it later. The RBI has now restricted all lending operations of Yes Bank, and said also put a maximum limit of 50,000 rupees only can be withdrawn by the depositors who have put their money in Yes Bank. Now people are standing in queue outside the Yes Bank ATMs, which also doesn't have money anymore. So, so many people are crying. All their lifetime deposits are put into this bank, and particularly in the urban areas, most of the private banks operate only in the urban areas. So people's lifetime savings, they are the people who are retired and all those things, etc. Because normally many people go to private sector banks which offered a better interest rates for their savings bank account after all have been deregularized by government. So to attract deposits, many private sector banks have put in a lot of money. I mean, increase their rates what they are giving it to depositors. So now all of them are worried about their future. That is on one side. Of course, there is some and maybe anticipating this with a great amount of foresight or so, something like that. Our great finance minister in her budget speech said that previously the maximum amount of insurance given through an RBI subsidiary to the deposits in India, in any bank in India, was only 1 lakh. That has been increased to 5 lakh from February 4th, 2020. So maybe this was done because last year, this is not the first bank to become bankrupt in India. In 2019, one cooperative bank, Punjab and yeah, Mumbai and Punjab Cooperative Bank, which is headquartered in Mumbai, also went down. So maybe that time also, but that was a cooperative bank, small. The area of operation was very much restricted, unlike Yes Bank, which has operations all over India. So maybe to assuage the feelings of the depositors, the government has increased the amount of deposit which are guaranteed through RBI subsidiary to 5 lakhs. So probably small depositors need not have to worry of the yes bank because their money is maybe with a delay in due course of time it will be coming back to them. But it is a big dampener for the financial system, banking system in particular. Now lower middle class people, since economy is not doing well, there are very little alternatives for them to invest, whether it is in real estate sector or in gold. So they have only one means to invest in banks. That also now they are not sure whether the bank will remain solvent or not. So it puts a big question mark about the trust, the confidence of the small time depositor is almost gone. If that, because as I said, this is not the worst performing bank. Now question marks have come about the oversight of RBI, what it has been doing. In 2014, when this government took over, Yes Bank's loans were only around 55,000 crores. So it slowly increased, no problem with that. Even though NPAs have been high, it has increased. And in 2017, March 31st, FY17, it became somewhere around 1.3 lakh crores. The outstanding loans, I'm not talking about NPAs per se. By March 2019, in 2 years, it became 2.45 lakh crore. 1.15 lakh crore increase in the loan amount. If RBI knows that there is some problem in this bank, then why they allowed them to keep on lending? What was the oversight done by RBI to prevent such a catastrophic collapse? Nothing, no answers so far yet from RBI. Secondly, RBI then itself has admitted in November 2019 that Yes Bank has underreported its NPAs to the tune of around 3,250 crores. 3250 crores, it has underreported. What it action it has taken? That was in November 2019. If, at least if they have acted at that point of time, in March first week, this bank would not have collapsed. Because already RBI has enormous amount of powers under RBI Act, even to supersede the board of directors. Their decisions, and even they can appoint a person temporarily to run over the bank, which now they have done after the horses are bolted. They are just locking the stable now. What is the point in doing that now? The finances of Yes Bank, the Yes Bank, but as I showed, has been showing profit. That means they are lying. The ability, there's an important data which every year it has to give. RBI gets all the balance sheets, and it can even send its officers to audit the books of the any bank which is suspected of under reporting. The ability of Yes Bank to the ratio of NPAs to its profit is the worst performing, worse than even public sector banks like BNB. It was something around 41 or 42%. Whereas the best in the category is ICICI, somewhere around 76%. SBI has got around 65%. The total ratio of NPA to its profits. So that's the problem there. So these finances have been going down, and when RBI now says that we have been regular interaction with the founders, with the directors, with the board, and they were promising that they will bring new equity into the thing. They're talking with new investors. That's what same thing has been told by Kingfisher Group. The same thing was told by Jet, and the same thing was told by everybody before they left, ran away from India, leaving the banks in and people in this thing bad state. Same thing, same vague promises have been given by the promoters, and RBI believed that and we did not take any action at all. Then what is the role of regulatory bodies? They didn't even, you have to move mountain to prevent this collapse, because when you see another data, it's a small bank. Yes, bank is a small bank. The total amount of overall loans given in the Indian banking sector, it is only 2.65%. But its deposits are much below. Deposits are not 2.65%. Deposits are only 1.3%. Half of that. That means there's a big mismatch between its own deposits, which is its asset, and its liabilities, which are its loan. And why this was allowed to happen? I mean, repeatedly saying that the RBI is is the biggest culprit. I don't blame the board of S Bank. Obviously, they will keep on giving all. They may be hoping against the hope that they can turn this around. They might have deliberately underreported NPS. And what was RBI doing? What was his officers? The problem is, like, there is no talent in this government. There's no talent in the people who advise the government, the bureaucracy. Same thing is a problem which only chamchas are being appointed to all the top positions. The autonomy of the institutions, including financial institutions, have been, if not destroyed, definitely eroded to a large extent. Who is the present RBI governor? Was he a renowned economist like Raghuram Rajan? When Raghuram Rajan became the RBI governor, the first thing he asked the banks was, he understood that the Indian banks are definitely under-reporting hugely, playing with around with the data and not showing NPS. The first thing he asked them was, you tell first to come out frankly. Right. Then we understood the magnitude of the NPA problem, and then we started taking some corrective measures also. But here, the RBI now last year came up with an announcement that to protect MSME sector, they announced a moratorium on banks to include MSME sector bad loans into NPAs, or even as a stressed asset, or even as a SMA. Till that moratorium is there till March 31st, 2020. And many experts who are watching this sector say that MSME sector is really bad shape. So already from in 2018-19, the NPS of MSME sector has more than doubled to more than 5.5% of the outstanding loans to MSME sector. Mudra loans are so bad. Already government has announced waived off more than 2 lakh crores, and this is the biggest problem. The Mudra loans up to 10 lakh rupees thing. And once banks are allowed, this moratorium is lifted by RBI, and that MSME sector Mudra loans, which are forced on the public sector banks, is also included into the NPS. Then there will be huge increase in the NPS of public sector bank, which is at 9.3%. People expect 1 to 1.5% increase in NPS. In March 2018, the NPAs was 11.8%, and by next 1 year it came down to 9.3%. And last year budget speech and the economic survey also said we are able to, due to our capable policies, great people, we are able to reduce the NPS. How they reduce the NPS? Simple. The government through RBI forced the banks to announce write-off of many of the NPS to the tune of 2.85 lakh crores. All to the big corporates. Loan has been written off. And therefore, since it is written off, it comes in the loss category, not shown as NPA. And this year also in Parliament, the minister has said, in responding to a question, that the first half, April to September 2019, H1 of the present financial year FY20, already banks have written off 85,000 crores. And that is how they have reduced the NPS also. And now to prevent the NPS from going up, RBI says that RBI doesn't want to announce this moratorium at all. It is because of the pressure from the government, and the nominees of the government in the RBI board forced the RBI to announce this moratorium, which they never wanted to do that. And once it comes, it will be again going up. And many banks are deliberately underreporting NPAs also. This is the story state of affairs, what we are. Many people say this is tip of the iceberg. Global experts are now saying that the failure of S Bank is merely the tip of the iceberg. This just many more banks are waiting to happen. This thing is going to happen now. As the next wave of NPAs hit because of the very poor performing economy, automobile sector, we know big problems are going on. Maybe I'll talk about it sometime later. Telecom sector, I can talk about it later. Real estate sector, MSME sector, agricultural loans. So everything is turning bad. And absolutely nothing because there's no capable hands at all, either in the finance ministry or with the RBA. Who is the present RBA governor? Was he, acknowledged economist? He was a former IAS officer with MA history, post graduation in history. He was the finance secretary of the government before, who implemented the foolhardy GST in 2017. When the economy was destroyed by demonetization, heavens would not have fallen if the government postponed that GST implementation by another 1 year or till the economy recovers. There's no quality. Mr. Gurumurthy, who is the ideologue of RSS, is being in the board of RBI directors as a government appointee. Substandard or people with the absolutely no idea about how the Indian financial system, Indian banking sector operates, are in the positions to take decisions. Then this is what you will get. The result output will be this is the thing. Lack of quality in decision making. And the autonomy in the process, the autonomy of the institutions is being destroyed. Already Supreme Court has been destroyed. Already Army has been destroyed. Already Election Commission has been destroyed. Only chamchas, yes men, or people who are close to Sangh Parivar are only being appointed to such posts, high posts. Then how can we turn around the economy? This is what the sorry state of affairs we have been pushed into. And of course, IPL is now going to start, 13th edition, I believe. Thankfully, I don't watch. And they want to control, the ruling establishment people want to control the holy cow, that is IPL. Lakhs of crores of money are involved in the betting, with the kingpin being, everybody knows who is in Dubai and who is also in Karachi, who is controlling it. With the convenience of that person, the present ruling establishment has put their own people to run BCCI to rake in lakhs of crores of rupees for themselves. And where they have time, of course, if what is their spare time, they think about how to create riots and how to divide India on communal lines. Where is the time to think about the problems affecting India? The financial sector, all the sector, all the automobile, various sectors are crying for help. Unemployment is at a historic high. Fiscal deficit is going up and up. Inflation is going up and up. Economy is going down and down. Of course, put the blame. Now, though coronavirus has come, you can put the blame on it. Otherwise, Jawaharlal Nehru is always there, or Indira Gandhi is there, who nationalized everything there, or Mr. Manmohan Singh is also there to put the blame on. And after 6 years of running the government, they keep on blaming others, and many Bhakts also believe that. That's a sorry state of affairs. That is the most pitiable thing is about these foolish people called Bhakts, who will believe any nonsense. And as long as we don't acknowledge the problem, even the husband of the present finance minister, who was also an economist, wrote an article 3 4 months back in the Hindu newspaper. The only thing he asked was, the economy is so bad, please acknowledge it. And of course, the next day, our venerable home minister, saint, he has said something, marking remarks about that also. People are not ready to accept that there is a problem. There is nothing harm in accepting there is a problem. Please be humble enough to accept that there is a problem. These people do not want even to do that. They just want anybody who, I'm an anti-national because I'm talking about the problems. Right. So we have the S Bank collapse is a small bank, as I said. That exposure limits are very low. At least you wake up. The RBI has to wake up. The whole banking system has to wake up. Finance ministry has to wake up. Do something. Of course, I can give suggestions also, but they don't even accept suggestions from Raghuram Rajan and Arvind Subramaniam and Manmohan Singh. And obviously, they won't accept any suggestions from me. So there's no point in me wasting my time in giving advice, falling on deaf ears. Right. So brace yourself. It's going to down, 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 down. So it's going to be a hard landing, hard Brexit is happening in India for our financial system. If the financial system collapses, the economy will collapse. So, if you are going into a turbulence, air turbulence, okay, you can tighten your seat belt and you can be safe. And if the plane is going to crash, tightening your seat belt is not going to do any help at all to you or me. The only thing is to escape from the sinking ship, to jump out of the sinking ship. But where to jump to? Maybe I don't know whether like India has amended CAA to allow persecuted minorities from Hindus, Sikhs, Parsis from Pakistan to come in. I don't know whether Pakistan or some other country will allow persecuted people from India to come to their country. Anyway, we can only laugh because there's no point in crying because we only elected such morons into high places and therefore we need to suffer. That's the law of nature.